Hello and welcome to my episode 2 review of Knights and Magic. And yes, I'm as surprised as you are, I'm actually doing a second one of these because I tend to lose interest on doing episodic stuff like one episode in. Actually, I got like 6 episodes of Orange before I stopped live reacting to it. This episode was a little bit better than the last one, I think, mainly because there weren't as many pacing problems. So starting off, we had a battle with the Behemoth, a giant monster thing. I forget what they're called, like demons or beasts or whatever the monsters are. A giant one coming at like a small castle, and the guards started panicking, and the beast basically destroyed them. Basically was setting up the Behemoth as a very powerful foe that the characters would have a lot of trouble fighting off. Although I did not really like this battle that much because I really just didn't care about any of the characters. I thought, okay, there's a giant monster, they're showing that he's powerful, and that's all there was. So yeah, that's kind of boring and dull. They also completely skipped the battle that the last episode was leading up to. If you remember right, there were these kids going on like a training mission, and then the monster showed up, so like the upperclassmen were going to fight them off while the underclassmen ran away, and they just skipped showing that. It's like, oh, they won. And I think like Ernie did something, or Ernest, whatever his name is. So yeah, do not skip entire battles if you're going to make the last episode lead up to it with a cliffhanger. There's also a really annoying harem thing. Well, I guess technically not harem since there weren't 3. It was just like the head of the student council president and his female friend who basically were like falling all over him and was like, really, you don't need this. It's enough of a fantasy empowerment type story that you don't need to add that on top of it. So after this, they end up having the Behemoth that destroy the castle and beat those guys come after the students. So that definitely was more interesting because I kind of cared a little bit about the students. Again, the upperclassmen were trying to like be a distraction while the underclassmen could get away. One of the really interesting things is that one of the upperclassmen, he like saw one of the other students killed and he was like, I'm not doing this, I'm running away, I have to live. And it was good that they actually showed someone really having fear for that. Like, he's not a soldier, he might be trained to be, but he's still a teenager, and first time seeing a battle like this, it only makes sense that he would run away. I think it would have been better if they, like, introduced him more last episode, or if we did not cram 9 chapters of manga into the last episode and let us see who he was, and then we could really feel his fear more. I think that would have been better. But then you have Ernie come along to the guy who ran away and basically stole the giant robot, which that was just great. Unfortunately, Ernie was too short to be able to control it with the controls, so what he did was instead of using the controls, he like plugged his magic guns into it and somehow was able to do that. And the explanation they gave is because he's like a programmer, he can think of the right way for it to make this work. They kind of tried explaining it by using some terms and thought, okay, this could apply to robots or to programming. But even then, it's quite convoluted. Then again, the code I write for work is also quite convoluted at times, so yeah, I'll let this one slide. Then you have Ernie fighting the Behemoth and a couple other people around to kind of help, and he beats it. Which, yeah, not surprised. He's definitely an overpowered main character. I do like that he was like caring about looking cool during battle, and that just makes him a lot of fun. Ernie is easily the best part of the entire anime just because of how much fun his character is. And there are a couple of lines I really liked of his, like there's one where he was saying the only thing that's allowed to destroy a robot is another robot, which he's a mech fan, remember? And yeah, that's fun. Or he was yelling at the guy he stole the robot from, saying, I don't care if this thing is impossible, just do it if you don't want to die. And, well, yeah. Plus he stole a giant robot, so that reminds me of Kamina, so that has to be something. And then we got to the end of the episode with the king or whoever it is wanting to meet Ernie, because Ernie is such a wonderful and OP protagonist. So overall thoughts on this episode, I don't know, it was better than the last one, and I think it's kind of enough to make me keep going. Yeah, it's like probably between a 4 and a 5 now, and I just gave it a 4 for episode 1, so I guess that's an improvement. It still feels like there will be some pacing problems, and these problems at the beginning hurt the foundation it's trying to lay, even if they didn't have all the problems here. So we'll have to see how it goes. If they continue making Ernie a fun character, I'll probably like this enough to keep going, and maybe there'll be a decent story eventually. We'll have to see. Anyway, thank you for watching. Tell me what you thought on this episode down below, and I will see you all next time.